Hello again, it's Geotrix, and we're on another episode. Today we're talking about dragons, and we have here with us Bob and Matt. Say hello, Bob and Matt.
Yeah.
Howdy, howdy.
All right, since me, Bob, and myself don't have much experience with dragons, we'll let Matt take the floor and tell us what the hell is going on with dragons and where to start, how to get, how to level up and what maybe to buy first, especially on the cheaper rounds. And I don't know, maybe start there, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The Dragon Splinter is it's sort of like a wild card where, for those not familiar, if you take a Dragon Summoner, you can choose one other Splinter, and then you have Dragon cards and that one other Splinter. So you can't choose, say, a Saber Shark and a Stone Golem because they're from different Splinters, but you can have a Magic Dragon who's from the Dragon Splinter and a Stone Golem, or you can have a Gold Dragon, and a Saber Shark by choosing Dragon and then Water. So it's a secondary choice, and it's a great way to mix up what would otherwise be, poor choices. I think I mentioned recently when if it's a weak Magic match or a no Magic match, and I'm looking at my blue cards, and maybe there's Death, which is not my strength, and there's Water. I'll look at that, and rather than picking Elric Stormbringer, which gives me +1 to Magic, which does me no good, then I'll pick Selenia's Sky if it's reasonably low mana, or Archmage Arius if it's high mana. Arius gives +1 to all damage types, melee, ranged, and magic. He's 5 mana to bring in, and they're very, very expensive. I was fortunate enough to get one when they were dropping them in mystery potions. But yeah, there weren't many printed, 90 printed all up. Archmage Arius. I'm just going to have a look at the price because it's always brutal when I look at the price. I'm like, wow.
That's a crazy low supply.
It is, yeah. And I mean, for 5 mana, it's very rare. If it's over, say, 30 mana, then I'm generally going to spring for the extra 2 mana to go from Selenia's Sky at 3 to Archmage Arius at 5, unless I'm planning a ranged heavy team where it's not going to matter.
Right.
Summoners, Legendary, where are you, buddy? Archmage Arius, there you go. 19,500 is the cheapest one. They came maxed, so that's the same as the Waka Spirit Blade that just launched. They come out maxed. The other one was PJ. He's only 2 mana and gives no benefits, but he's 2 mana, and for that you get all your Dragon Summon. That's actually a really handy option in the Silent Summoners rule set.
That's
because you're getting very cheap dragons coming in. My PJ, I have one. I bought him. My PJ, actually, he's similar, 19,970. That's just the regular foil. I don't even know what the gold foils are worth. I don't even know if they've got any listed. Gold PJ is 75 grand, and there's no gold Arius on the market. Yeah, so yeah, 75 grand for a gold PJ. I think only 2 of them dropped, maybe. Because of that 90, there's only, each day there was only that 2% chance of them turning gold. So we're talking to the ultra rare level cards, but yeah, Silent Summoners PJ is great. My PJ is sitting on wax, and I keep umming and ahhing about this. When you move something to wax chain, it then takes on, it looks at how many other versions of that card are already on wax, and then it gives it a number. If there's already 4 there, you get to be number 5. And it will stay that number until it gets removed and then maybe re-added, like if it gets removed back to Splinterlands and then re-added again. And so my PJ, a mate tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, you've got a PJ, there's no PJs on wax. This is when the bridge first opened. I thought, great, this is fantastic. Bam, so now I have number 1 PJ on wax, and it will stay that way. The problem is I can't bring myself to sell him. And I'd really like to use him quite often. So he's just sat there. I mean, I'm getting the SPS drops, but he's just sat there, and it's like, part of me thinks, a fraction of a second after I move him off there, start using him again, somebody will drop one in there, and then and then they'll sell their number one PJ for 50 grand, and then I'll think, oh, I could have done that, but then I'm not even sure if I'd part with them for 50 grand. So,
Exactly, man. Like your whole outlook is the hodl in this game, especially. You love the
absolutely.
long term. Like you're
Yeah.
more long term than anyone I've met. So
yeah, absolutely. And I love it for that. I mean, these are the goal, right? Other people are like, oh, I want to make money off this so I can buy a Lambo. I'm like, I want to make money off this so I can get a gold PJ.
It's like I want to sell my Lambo so I can get a gold.
exactly, and that goes down to how do we define wealth, right? Which is a whole other conversation. But yeah, so I'll often pick the dragon, especially if it's high mana. I'll often look for dragons because there are a lot of high mana dragons that can completely change up a game. And I think one real benefit of having dragons available is if you want to, say if you don't, one sneaky maneuver that I just love is I will pick Selenia Sky if it's, say it's a no melee match, right?
Yeah.
People generally aren't worried about sneaks because it's a no melee match and there aren't that many non-melee sneaks. So I will pick Selenia Sky and then some sort of tank up the front, maybe Head in a Jar, Lord Agapanthus. Head in the Jar. I'll pick him and then I'll get Dragonling Bowman, who's a ranged sneak.
Okay.
And then I'll get, who's the new girl, Lyra? I think Lyra in Earth. She's a ranged sneak.
You mean Death, Lyra?
No, it might not be Lyra.
The Darkness. Wait, is there an?
No, there's a Earth girl.
Earth. Okay.
I'm gonna. Had her then.
Isa the Fanged.
Isa. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. Isa the Fanged.
Isa.
So she's. I've got her. She'll target. Cool. She'll sneak target their last.
Yeah.
Dragonling Bowman, who's a classic, like old school promo card. He's pretty slow, so he doesn't really get much of a workout, but people aren't expecting it, right? And then I'll also throw in, say, a Goblin Sorcerer who's a magic sneak. And so people generally aren't expecting a multi-sneak lineup when it's no melee. But that's the kind of thing that you can do when you have a Dragon Summoner, because then you can pull in these rare niche cards. Sometimes I'll even do Archmage Arius and throw in Shinlo. Now, I only have him at 1 BCX, which means he only does 1 magic damage to the rear, 1 magic sneak damage. But with Arius, that goes up to 2, and he's only 1 mana. So that's a real easy decision, especially if it's, say, reverse speed or something like that, where speed doesn't matter. Dragonling Bowman, this new Isa the Fanged, she's a bit fast maybe for reverse speed, but you get what I'm saying. And then whoever's, they've just stacked up their back line with the glass cannons because, it's not going to be a multi-sneak team, and then you just punch and punch and punch. And
so you start from the back to the front.
Exactly. And, it's a opportunity where they won't use taunt, for example, because why would they use taunt? They're not worried about multi-sneak. So it's a way. Dragon is a way to take your strategy and then put it on steroids. I'm not going to do a triple snipe team. I'm going to do a 5 snipe team, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm also throwing in, or opportunity. Dragon Jumper is just nuts. He's fantastic. Tie him together with a few other opportunity cards, and things get really interesting really quick. So that's when I enjoy Dragon. Every now and then I'll catch myself. I'll pick a. I do this too often. And this is about learning your own lessons, right? What I'll often do is I'll go, I'm going to pick Selenia Sky, but then I pick Earth, and then I'll go, I want Stone Splitter Orc, and then Flesh Column, and then I'll take the Screeching Vulture, and then I'll put at the back, I'll put a snake or something like that. And then I look at it and go, hang on, I didn't actually use any dragon cards or any ranged cards.
Just to summon
I won't submit with Selenia Sky. I'm going to go grab Lyanna Natura instead and give them all +1 to health, instead of wasting, the opportunity to give the summoner, for the summoner to give you any sort of bonus or benefit at all. So that's the other, I guess, pitfall that you can fall into, where you go to use this thing and go, hey, I didn't actually pick any dragon cards. got to pay attention. I think that's where I'm going wrong.
So Dragon allows for more combos from multiple splinters for all these combinations that you couldn't just make up with just one single splinter, like earth, fire. This allows for a combination to use the best of the best from all of them. So I reckon with the right person, Dragon can be one of the most effective, actually.
It can.
Because it allows you to pull in from a lot more cards.
And look, somewhat ironically, the more restrictive the rule sets, the more benefit you get from taking those two sets, right? Dragon and another splinter. Because if it's say it's say if it's no melee, there goes half your cards. And then if it's even Stevens, there goes another half of your cards. Now you're staring down the barrel going, okay, I can't do a multi-snipe. I wanted to do, say, a triple snipe, but I can't do it because I've only got so many snipes that meet these criteria, right? In the melee only wouldn't work. Say if it's broken arrows, right? I want to do multi-snipe, but it's broken arrows and even Stevens, and I've only got this many water cards anyway. Well, now you can really expand that out. And it means that when your opponent's not expecting you to go multi-snipe because it's such restrictive rule sets, then you can, because you went Dragon when he wasn't expecting you to.
Here you are flopping out your Dragons, and you're using all these cards which do have sneak and snipe, whatever else, which I find, man, I've been wrecked so many times with snipe and sneak, mainly sneak, just wiping out my back row. It is a really good meta play. The only time I countered it is when I put Cursed Winterku in the back, so they were getting Thorns damage, and I had like the amplify, the little dude with the ranged. Man, that's the only way I won. But
so much of it is about predicting what. Exactly. It's about predicting what the other guy's going to do, and if you can see it coming, you can often mitigate that. But if you don't, then you just look at the lineup, and you know that feeling. You look at the lineup, and and you look at it and go, you
assess it for a bit, and you're like, oh, I'm wrecked. It's like here I bring melee heavy, and they're using magic. It's like, and I've got a lot of armor which isn't going to be used. And
then you see they're all +1 to speed, and they all speed up. +1 to speed, and they all speed up, and you're like, this is going to be over before I have a turn to do anything. And look, it's great. It's great that there's that variety there, because the game will humble you, where you'll go, oh, this is exactly right. I know exactly what I'm doing here, and you get it exactly right. And then the better players will know what would be exactly right, and then know exactly how to counter that. I've got a fun little, like, if it's say 19 mana, what I like to do is get Rexy, and then a Minotaur Warlord, and then the what's that girl, 5 mana ranged. Anyway, the Minotaur Warlord and the ranged girl in Earth, they have Pierce, so they both go first. It's more effective in gold because Minotaur Warrior goes first in gold, whereas he and the Rexy are matched in diamond and above. So it's kind of a coin toss whether he'll go first or the Minotaur Warrior will. But if you can have the girl, I'm scrolling to see if I can find her. She is Javelin Thrower. You have Javelin Thrower go first, and then Minotaur Warrior go second, and they both do armor tear. Generally, there's not much stopping Rexy from killing with his first hit because he goes third. Then he tramples and he hits their second card like an absolute ton of bricks. And normally that'll break their back, especially in like a 19 mana match. They're not going to have too many cards that do that, you see. And even if they do, then you've got your 2 Pierce cards to smash that. So that's great. But once I've beaten somebody with that lineup, if he has a good memory, he'll remember that, and he'll know that when it's 19 mana, he'll go, I know what Matt does with 19 mana. Is Earth available? Yes, it is. I can see what's going to happen. So you've got to avoid being predictable. And that's another, I guess, joy of the Dragon rule set, of having Dragon as a possibility, is that even if the rule set and the mana cap says, hey, go for this strategy, you have the options and you have the variety available to go, I'm just going to mix it up a bit and do something different. So it's a way to be less predictable. Yeah,
exactly. Depending on the rule sets and the caps and whatever else. I find that Dragon, you just got a lot more variety than you do with any other Splinter.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I just think it's actually one of the best. It actually is. It's so up there because you have you have a Splinter that that can change over whatever you have on like Earth and all that. There's always a supplement. That's the word I'm going for.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And there are cards that will, if I see something, then that triggers a thought in my mind. So, for example, the combination of Blast and No Heal, right? Then I'm thinking, I want Magic Life Leech because it's Blast, right? You're gonna leech so much more life, and there's no healing, which means that you're not up against healers. All only Life Leech or Scavenge are actually able to increase their maximum life.
They're now your healers.
Exactly. So then I'll go, if I see Life Leech and Blast, I go, okay, straight away I'm thinking White. I'm going to grab, what's her name? White, she's an epic. I love her. I use her way too much. Green Gold, is she an epic? I use her way too much.
What edition?
I'm looking at the market, not my own cards. She was, I think, Untamed, maybe. I know her. Bill of the Radiant. That's it. Bill of the Radiant. And legendary. So she's legendary. Is that the problem? I was looking in the. Okay. That's the problem. Yeah, Bill of the Radiant. So she does Life Leech and Magic. So immediately I'll think, okay, it's Blast and No Heal. Straight away I'll think of her. But then I'm going to look across to Summoners and go, do I have Dragon? Because if I do, I can bring in Black Dragon, who is also a Magic Life Leecher.
Right.
So then I'm doubling up, right? Then I'm doubling up on that combo, because what works is going to work twice as well with two of them. We'll work out which one maybe I want to put forward and which one I want to put back. But that Black Dragon, and again, sorry guys, if you've only started recently, I'm well entrenched in the older cards that are going back a year or two or three. But so Black Dragon's been out of circulation for a while. But that's, I guess, the take-home message is Dragon gives you that option that when you find that rule set and that mana cap to go, yeah, this is what I want to do with it. Then you can go, hang on, can I put this strategy on steroids by making it a dragon summoner instead? So I'm going to see what Bill of the Radiant's worth. I've got her maxed in gold, and
Sweet.
She is a brutal card. Divine Shield and Stun. So she's great for to pair with the knockout card.
Stun's great.
Yeah, Stun
saves.
will do you a lot of favors. Yeah. Only problem is when you see it there and you expect it to work, then it doesn't, and then you get heartbroken. So Bill of the Radiant's only $27 for a single BCX. So maxed out 160. You pick one up for say $300, which is not bad for. She's a reward edition card, so there's probably quite a lot still in circulation. But yeah, legendary life. So she's Divine Shield, so she can take a hit, stun, and Life Leech. What's not to love? But you tie that with it. You pair that with a Black Dragon, and yeah, magnificent.
It's quite a high mana card, though, isn't she?
She's 8. Yeah. So, but you'd be amazed how. If you say throw in a scavenge or something like that in front of her, and then a few rounds go by before she gets to the front, with that blast damage on Life Leech, armor's not stopping her because it's magic, right? So she's actually adding at least 2 health every round, sometimes 3, depending on how much damage she does. If the victim has void, then she's not doing as much damage. She's not leeching as much. But if she's at max level and doing some serious magic damage to 2 opponents, then she's leeching back a lot of life. And you don't need to keep her. You don't need to keep her from the front for too long before she becomes this absolute beast. Particularly if that stun kicks in, and they've got a strong tank, right? He's now taken out of the game. So even though, yeah, she's does cost quite a lot of mana, the lower the mana of the match is, the more likely it is that they're relying on one big heavy tank, and the more likely it is that that stun's going to actually help you, or that divine shield's going to help. Where, okay, yeah, she got to the front, but now she's taken a massive hit from some recharge guy who's waiting to pounce.
Yeah.
Bam, take that. Oh no, hang on, divine shield. And it's amazing again how many times that'll save you.
Or the opposite. Sometimes you're reliant on one big card and someone just swarms you with the smallest of cards and wrecks you. You know? On about Void, as you were talking about just then. Void Dragon from the latest pack is really good. I've used it I've used it with a level 1 Dragon Summoner, and it actually won me a battle, man. It really did.
Low level cards can win the battle if you pick the right cards. And that's one of the things I love about this game. Just looking at the Black Dragons. Black Dragon's about $600, so he's a little bit more expensive. He's a reward card, but I think he might be a slightly older reward legendary.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just looking at the price of some of those. So yeah, she's I haven't looked at Void Dragon. I think somebody mentioned it's quite expensive mana wise to bring
It's 5.
in. Okay, well that's not bad at all.
It's not.
No, okay. I've got to open some Chaos Legion packs because I'm getting left behind here.
And
I feel like I'm getting left behind. Do I have any potions? If I've got potions, I'll open a pack now and we'll see how we go.
Hey, I'll open a pack too, even though I don't have any potions. But it's okay. I'll still open it. I don't care.
I got 4. I got 20 legendary potions and 4 alchemy potions. So I'm going to try. Everyone send me your luck, right?
Yes.
I've got the warning you don't have enough potions, so I'm going to. There we go. There it is. Bring it. I need all of them vibes.
Yes, all
them
those
lucky vibes.
Opening packs.
Right, let's see. Can we get a Void Dragon, or is the Void Dragon going to avoid me?
GF got Void Dragon.
They're the dad jokes you can make.
I'm going to open one too. Just one.
Nice, rock on.
Yeah.
You know, the difference between a dad joke and a bad joke is the direction the first letter's pointing.
Whoa, I don't get that, but I don't get it.
The difference is only semantic. There's no difference between a dad joke and a bad joke.
Okay.
I'm just getting a timeout now. The teeth are just. I think you've overloaded it with the good vibes. That's the problem.
Holy shit!
Sent too many. There's a delay in processing this transaction. Be patient.
I put too much energy into it.
Prince all those gold legendaries.
Damn,
It's pending. It's in the queue to be processed. This is what happens when you're too popular. This is what happens to me on Tinder. I'm sorry. Too many women want to set a date.
Too many women want my packs. They want to see what I can open.
We're going to have to edit a lot of this out, Bob. This is. Oh, here we go. Packs are ready. Click here to see what you got. Family friendly. Okay, I got a rare Soul Strangler. I got a Hardy Stonefish. Not exciting at all. That's what I match with on Tinder. Hardy Stonefish. Gargoyle Scrapper and Scavo Chemist. Really not lighting up my world, but that's okay.
How are you opening a pack? Mine's still on the pending. Mine's still going around in circles.
I've got a little pop-up at the side there, so just wait for your pop-up and you'll be right.
Okay.
You'll be good to go. I should have waited till I had a 5th gold potion. Anyway.
So what's a Dragon Summoner going for now? Like, I guess Chaos Pack would be the cheapest Dragon Summoner.
$30.
Yeah, $30.
Quicks.
For 1 BCX?
Yeah. Legendary.
Yeah. That's not bad. I do want to. I want to get some higher mana summoners because 5 is great, but if there's a dragon summoner that's like 7, you know, for those real unlimited mana matches that really does some stuff,
Yeah.
That'd be good, but I don't think there is. Chaos Legion. Yeah, so we got.
Did you hear about the next airdrops after that dragon dude who attacks twice? They're going to be. I think they're going to be like a dragon summoner, earth summoner. I think they're going to be all 6 of them are going to be all summoners, I believe.
Okay.
Legendary
I don't know
summons,
where
I think.
I heard that. I heard that like on two chat rooms already. I don't know
That
if
does
it's
sound
confirmed,
familiar. Yeah.
but I'm really looking forward to that. That's when I'm going to get my dragon summoner around that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we go, let's look at dragon summoners. So they're mana-wise, the most expensive. The most expensive is Byzantine Kitty for 7, from a mana perspective. But there's nothing else. That's interesting. Byzantine Kitty wrecks me all the time. You twerp.
+2 speed.
Yeah, and healing the tank. I mean, that's nuts, especially in a no-heal match because units can't heal.
That's
summoners
right, but
can
your
still
summoner
heal.
can.
Yeah, yeah. Or things like, back to basics when nobody's got any abilities. Oh, why do they keep healing their tank? It's because of the summoner. Yeah. But again, it's 7 mana, and he doesn't increase his damage at all. It doesn't, though, whereas you look at Archmage Arius, you go, well, I can bring in 2 mana more of heat, and I can have a variety of attacks, and each one's hitting that one harder. If I'm still alive at the end of the first round when I get a turn, I can.
Or if I can actually hit somebody.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, there's a few decent options there as far as Delwyn Dragonscale's funny. He's been around forever and he's only $7.50. He's +1 to Magic Dragon Summoner. That's probably a good. Yeah.
Really good price.
It is. I think
per 1 BCX.
Yeah. Delwyn Dragonscale. I think he's got a bit of a. He's always a bridesmaid because Archmage Arius was for 5 mana. You can get +1 to all damage types and a Dragon Summoner. But that $7.50, I'm really surprised by that. I wonder if I should maybe stack some.
How many do you need to max him out? Is he rare? Is he epic?
No,
what is he?
He's common. He's common. So to max him out, you need 505. That's the kicker, right? That's why he's though. So I've just had a look now. I've just opened it up and I'm like, okay, yes, that's $1,400 to max him.
It's actually cheaper to get a Quicks.
Yeah,
few $100.
Yeah, and then you can play him in modern format. Whereas Delwyn's only going to be there. It is. We worked. The mystery's solved. Mystery solved.
The greatest mystery.
So there's going to be a massive rush on those cards on the market soon.
Yeah. Nobody listens to me. Nobody who's fought me listens to me. The only audience I can get are guys in like bronze and novice who've never faced me, you see. They're like, oh, wow, he fights in diamond. I should listen to him.
I was happy just to get my very first reward, end of season reward in gold 2, 26 chests. Until you've actually opened 26 chests, you can't fully appreciate 26 chests. And I got a gold foil rare card. Can't remember which one. It's not one I use a lot. But I also got a chaos pack. Got my first chaos pack in a reward chest. So yeah.
And that card and the cards in the pack, they will sit on your account for years to come, being useful, right? They're going to add to your collection power. If you find you're not using them, you can throw them up for rent, and they're going to be passive income. Like, how much better is that than literally anything else that you could, you get what I'm saying? It's you get new assets in this game, and you can use them over and over again. They never wear out. You don't lose them. You just keep using them. Every day you find new ways to use them. And if you don't, you put them up for rent and somebody pays you for the privilege. And at the end of the day, you still have them. And a year from now, they're far more rare. And now they're even worth more. It's just nuts. How is this game not got 100 million players already? I don't know.
It's a
Yeah.
paradigm shift from the fiat scarcity world
It is.
that takes some adjusting.
Yeah, so before we were rudely cut off by Zoom, we were opening packs, and I have figured out what the problem was. It's just it's on the blockchain, needs to slow, it needs to catch up. Might be a bit busy at the moment, huh?
Catch up with your
So
clicking finger, the spasms in your clicking finger.
it's itchy. Get it right. Got an itchy trigger finger.
You combined some cards. You didn't wait for the blockchain. You went and combined some cards, didn't you?
Yeah, well, it's going to catch up eventually. Yeah,
We'll just wait for the chain. This is what it looks like when I'm waiting.
Yeah, you're one of these people at the traffic lights that just sits there smashing it until it turns green, aren't you?
Yeah.
Something to do.
He looks at me, he's like, oh man, you've got this time horizon. You're like the longest term investor I know, because I wait till my dinner cools off a little bit before I start eating it. It's like, it burns. Why does it burn?
See, I try to eat it before it cools down too much.
Yeah.
He eats it like out of the frying pan while it's still on the stove.
I have.
Love it. Yeah, so well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what you got. Hopefully you pulled a little bit better than mine, but I think the other, just having a look at dragons, what's the other recurring theme? And flying features heavily in the Dragon Splinter. So it is a no-brainer for Earthquake if it's available. That does mean if it's available, then also you're going to, and you don't go Dragon, or even if you do, you're going to want to grab a summoner that does a lot of snare, because snare doesn't miss dragons and it will strip flying from them. Snare doesn't miss flying monsters, and it'll strip it from them. So the best of both worlds is Dragon Jumper that I've mentioned before. He in Earthquake is virtually unstoppable. He strikes very, very quick. He will hit anyone, their weakest card, and assuming that they've used flying instead of armor to get past the Earthquake, he'll hit them. He's got an excellent chance of stunning them. He'll strip off flying so that they'll get hurt by future earthquakes. He's a brilliant all-rounder. You just need to make sure he can himself stay alive for long enough to win the match for you. The other one is Gold Dragon is a cliche for a reason in Earthquake, because not only does he fly and avoid the earthquake damage, but he also heals himself and does a bit of blast damage, which is just lovely. So if I see Earthquake, I think Dragon first off, Dragon Summoner, and then of course you can tie that with flying cards from whichever other Splinter. And again, you're getting a powerful combo there. So one I like is Gold Dragon, as I mentioned, Magic Blast. You can double up on the Magic Blast by grabbing a Phoenix, Elemental Phoenix. Again, sorry, this is an alpha card, but Elemental Phoenix from the Fire deck. And there you've got 2 flying blast magic dealers. I'd put the Gold Dragon first so he can absorb any damage and heal up himself, and keep the Phoenix up the back. But again, it can vary a lot depending on whether it's a high mana cap, low mana cap, what you think they're going to do, how you think they're going to get around it. If they're going to spray snare everywhere, then maybe armor's the best way, or self-heal is the best way to get around the earthquake damage. I love Earthquake. I think it's a real demonstration of the depth of variety in the game. The fact that you can say there are so many different ways to get around Earthquake. One I really enjoy is Earthquake and Back to Basics, because no one has flying, and you stack your highest armor, highest health guy right at the back, and then try and put whatever will keep him from hitting the front as long as possible between him and the front. So usually it'll be the Goblin Mech. I'll put up there heaps of armor, heaps of health, and I'll put him last, which is the opposite of what you'd normally want to do in Back to Basics. But the idea is that Earthquake is going to kill everybody eventually. Nobody can resist it. No one's self-healing. No one's repairing armor. There's no abilities. It's Back to Basic. Back to Basics. That's where you just want to make sure that the damage doesn't hit him until, I'm just looking at Grim Flameblade, he'd probably be a better option than Goblin Mech. You want to make sure that your enemies don't hit him at all. That's the last thing you want, because
That's the Earthquake's job.
That's the Earthquake's job, exactly. And the Earthquake's going to hurt him, but
Yeah.
hopefully it wipes out the other team first. But things like that, I'm like, you know, the fact that there's that much depth of complexity in afforded by Earthquake in even the back to basics rule set, right? And then you get other rule sets where it's like, it is just such a beautiful game. And I think Earthquake really nicely demonstrates the way you can go, okay, I'm going to do a multi, I'm going to do lots of armor, and then I'm going to do a multi repair setup where it doesn't matter what they, you know, I don't care whether I'll choose silence as well, for example. So if they're doing magic damage incoming, it's not going to hurt me so much. It's only a little bit of magic damage, and I'm going to do lots of repair, and I'm just going to repair myself all day, and the Earthquake's not going to touch me. If you do that and the other guy assumes you're going to fly and just spray snare everywhere, that's going to do nothing. He's just wasted that ability.
That's right.
But if he's predicted that you're going to do that and he throws in, say, just something as simple as an Ice Pixie, she flies, 2 mana, shatter.
That's right.
Completely destroys your armor, right? And then the Earthquake comes along and wrecks you. And so it's such a game of, you know, cat and mouse, rock, paper, scissors, guessing what the other guy's going to do. And then so many times looking at the lineup and going, I was wrong. He knew what I was going to do, not the other way around.
You've been played. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah,
when
and
you get
again,
Earthquake and Toxic Fumes together, so you got one attacking your shields and one attacking your life.
Yeah.
What's your counter for that?
It's crazy. Well, my personal counter that I really like for Noxious Fumes is Resurrect. It's possible with the life team to just do multi-resurrect. There's 4 different life cards with Resurrect. When you resurrect somebody in Noxious Fumes, they're not poisoned anymore. So if you can resurrect a self-healer in Noxious Fumes, then he doesn't have any more problems. And so if you can resurrect a self-healing card with flying, he's just going to live forever. I'm not actually sure if there is a self-healing card with flying. So I'd probably prefer both. So say that, you know, there's a self-healing card here and there's a flying card here, and whichever one happens to get killed first gets resurrected without Noxious Fumes. Again, you don't need to live forever, especially not in Noxious Fumes and Earthquake. You just got to outlive the other guy by a single hit, a single round. So
but I
that's
guess
a good question, though. I wonder if there is a
the
flying
order
self-healer
that your people are going to die in isn't always in your control either, is it?
One thing that really annoys me is I've got all these low mana cards that are, I picked up these zero mana fiends, and they're good. They're very handy. The problem is when I get bumped down from diamond into gold, I'll still pick them, but okay, they're a meat shield, but they don't have their special ability anymore in gold level. And so in something like Noxious Fumes, the other guy often will pick Scavenge. And so the very first round, the Noxious Fumes run through, and if you picked a full arrangement in a low mana match of just these low mana cards, they all get wiped out, and you're like, well, that's all right. They were just a cheap meat shield anyway. The problem is they're not cheap when they go to his cube as scavenge food and make him stronger. So that's something that I've been, especially that's something that Guild Brawls have taught me, because the gladiator cards in a Guild Brawl, if they kill your chicken, they don't care. That's still bloodlust, right? So now he's hitting harder, he's going faster, he's got more health, he's got more armor, just because you just threw a chicken in there. It's like, why are you feeding your opponents? So scavenge is similar to bloodlust there, and somewhere, a match where there's going to be a high death toll, like Earthquake and Noxious Fumes, that's when I will lean towards fewer cards is better. Or scavenge is by all means, scavenge can be your strategy, in which case you love to see that he's filled up his whole roster with low mana, low health cards, hoping that he's, something else he's going to do is going to pull it off, because then you're scavenging and you're happy. So yeah, again, Earthquake I love, and it can be made worse with something like Noxious Fumes. So yeah, or it could, you know, it can be made different, even with something as simple as Lost Legendaries, right? Where now you can't bring in your Dragon Jumper and your Gold Dragon because, and a lot of the flying cards because they're legendaries, and that's the Dragon Splinter is legendary heavy. Obviously, that's the you know the premium Splinter with a whole lot of great legendary cards in it. So that would be one where I'll generally not go for the Dragon Splinter is if I see it's Lost Legendaries. Again, you still got plenty of variety, and Lost Legendaries will trim you down in all the Splinters. So again, hard and fast rules. It's so hard to make them. Because there are a few standout cards that aren't legendaries in Dragon that can do wonderful things. So, yeah.
So do you have an even Dragon deck or an odd Dragon deck?
No, nothing. I don't know. I haven't gone to that level of you know, abstraction with it where I've actually sat down and looked. There are pairings that I know are both on the same wavelength. Like I mentioned before, the Black Dragon and Bill of the Radiant, they're 6 and 8 respectively, so they can be used at the same time. And another popular pairing that I just love is an odd pairing, which is the Silver Shield. The white team, the life team has two snipe, range snipe that work really well together. No, that's Sneak, and that's a good option too. Now I'm thinking Lone Boatman and Silver Shield Sheriff.
Yeah,
they work really well together, and they're both odd. You know, so they're ones I'll think of. And again, if it is only odds or only evens, then that is extra reason to pick the Dragon Splinter because now you've got that extra, you know. And so again, the more restrictive the rule set, the more promising it is to have the option of Dragon.
Yeah, I think odds and evens is the one that like really I get to. It's like not until you go to pull a card, you realize a regular combo isn't going to work. So yeah, Dragons would just give you some more odds or some more evens to scatter out.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's about knowing what the other guy might field as well. You know, having a look and going, "Ooh, hang on, Dragon's available. He might do the thing." And so I've kind of got to assume that he's going to do the thing that's, you know, it's Earthquake. Dragon is available. Okay, well, I'm guessing he's going to use Gold Dragon because, assuming he's been around for a while and has one, because it's such a powerful card, or Dragon Jumper because it's such a powerful card. That's when you go, okay, well, I'm going to use the snare. But if there's, you know, if Dragon's not available, then there are much fewer flying cards out there. There's still a few. But especially, again, with the restrictive rule sets, there are much fewer flying cards out there. That's probably when they're going to go more for self-healers or armor or a mix of, you know, a mix of those.
And when they do use like self-healers with no attack and all that, the ability of press can be really good.
Yeah, exactly. Depending on which card it is. So if you
head in a jar, cube.
Exactly. If they're doing that and then stacking multiple healers behind, then yeah, for sure. Afflict will, you know, stop them from healing.
Afflict.
Yeah. But again, you know, the self-healers are, I think, because earthquake damage is more across the board, self-healers tend to be more beneficial than tank healers. In a normal regular game, tank healers are great because they're healing the front guy who's getting all the damage. But in Earthquake, everybody's getting damaged, right? So if everybody just looks after themselves and heals up themselves,
it's better.
Often you'll find you'll get a who's it, a water elemental or earth who's self healer. I think it might be water.
Sea monster.
No. Who's he? Oh, water elemental. Yeah. So water elemental has self heal. He's a alpha and beta card. 5 mana, 4 damage, 5 speed, 7 health. Great. He doesn't fly, but in Earthquake, I'll use him because if you can stop him from getting targeted, he'll take the Earthquake damage and then just heal himself up and heal himself up and heal himself up. So in a normal match that isn't Earthquake, his self-heal is only going to be helpful when he gets to the front and starts getting targeted. So,
Yeah.
so self-heal really takes on an extra, I guess, bonus attribute when it's Earthquake, because you know that card's going to need that heal every round. He's going to benefit from it, instead of, okay, he's got self-heal and we're 10 rounds in, he hasn't taken a hit yet, so what good did it do him to have self-heal?
That's right. And with like poison, cleanse is always nice to have. I've used that a couple times. I think that's won me even in gold. Yeah, cleanse can be really good. So
yeah, and
I like
the good thing is too, it's not antidote, right? So cleanse doesn't care whether you're poisoned or afflicted or stunned or whatever. Like, it just strips it off.
Yeah.
You know, so it's useful for a variety of different afflictions and problems and difficulties. That I'm really glad that they went with just a catch-all cleanse rather than
individual
heal poison or remove stun or whatever. So you've got that option now that and look, I'm getting to the point now where I'll play a match and I'll see that they've got Dr. Blight, and I'll go, I don't have any cleanse. Well, that's me then. I'll just skip to the end.
Yeah, he gets me good sometimes, most of the time.
Yeah.
And it's harder when you are up against these people who do have these cards and you don't. I know it's not for the dudes, the whales and all that, but for like the little dudes, the shrimp, the krill, man, it can be challenging. But when you do win those, it's very good. Feels good.
It's satisfying when you can take out their Dr. Blight early. You get you go, oh, you can't target me, I put him at the end. But then just before him, he's put a chicken, which is opportunist bait. And then one of your opportunist cards is, got blast or something like that, goes and hits it and wipes out Dr. Blight. You're just looking at it going, oh, that's beautiful. That's magnificent. He's not going to be poisoning and afflicting me for the rest of the game.
But sometimes Blight has he has that ability where he's got camouflage, right? Is that he has Blight?
So you can't target him.
Yeah, you can't target him. That's what makes him more annoying.
Exactly.
He's so
and
annoying.
Especially to tie that with Scavenge, where he's getting stronger the whole time you can't target him. It's just nuts. He's vicious. I keep forgetting.
That would be a good card to get, regardless of who wants him. I reckon he's important. He's meta,
and he's neutral too, so you can tie him with pretty much anyone, including Dragon. And anyone dies. His team, the other team, he doesn't care. He just gets stronger.
He's a must, actually.
Yeah, he's a bit of a
beast. Did well for the first airdrop card with him.
Yeah, it was a great call. And Little League too. Oh, he's brutal in Little League.
How much is he now?
Just because that's a good question.
A little over 100, 105, I think. Last time I checked. Have a look.
Because I still haven't, I haven't opened that many Chaos packs, so I don't know what's in them. But each time they airdrop a card, I still haven't had one. Like that El Chapo meme. Each reveal is just sitting there waiting.
See, with Blight though, you can't open him up in packs now. He was just an exclusive airdrop, huh?
Oh, really? So he won't be in any packs?
No. That's what makes him a bit more valuable, more scarce,
So he was only available if you were lucky enough to get one in that airdrop. I didn't know that. Damn. So I won't have a Dr. Blight then.
Oh, same.
In gold, he's about 1100 for a single BCX.
Yeah.
So I got enough to max him in gold, which was pretty great, and then I had another 7 copies in regular. So
they were all airdrops.
They're just up on the rental market. Well, that was for buying early in the first million
pre-sale.
In that first month, in that first million. I wouldn't. I mean, some of the voucher prices were insane. They were $22, $24.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to buy them at that because I was getting them airdropped, right? Because I've got a lot of SPS. I was able to work it out and go, oh yeah, I can just do it based on my airdrops. So still, I'm looking at them and going, oh yeah, it's great that I got him for free. But then I think, well, the amount of vouchers that I spent buying these Chaos Legion packs, if I'd have sold them all for $25 each, but you just can't do that to
yeah,
yourself
true.
with that. So there's a big opportunity cost there, but I got my gold Dr. Blight, and that's the main thing, right?
That's what matters.
That's what matters. But that's another I guess note on the way these things compound themselves. So I took deck earnings and deck that I'd bought with Hive, and I used that to buy a couple of regions in the sale. Right now, those regions I still have, but they've also given me a metric crap ton of SPS. And that SPS I still have, but it's also given me a heap of vouchers, right? And those vouchers I use to buy a whole lot of these cards, which then are giving me the airdrops, which I now have. So it's like this real
ecosystem
that just came from the decision to buy a couple of regions by powering down, some Hive that I had. It's incredible how you can look at this and go, I've got heaps of this and heaps of this and heaps of this and heaps of this, and I've only got this and this because I've got a heap of that, right? So the more you can get the heap of the new that, the more of that, and then that
snowballs
you end up with. Yeah, it
just
does.
snowballs.
It really does snowball.
And did you get a flucker?
Yeah, I got 2.
Sweet,
got 2.
Sweet, cool.
Yeah, I actually got I got the last one. I got number 500 of 500.
Hey.
Yeah, somebody
sick.
looked up the stats and did a post on it, and they said I was kind of just trolling a little bit. I said, oh, cool. So I'm the reason everybody missed out then. Like everybody who missed out on one missed out because I got the last one. Right? That's what you get.
Yeah.
And he said, no, actually, the only people who tried after that already had at least one. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm not the bad guy then. But yeah, a few people tried for the second or third and didn't get a look in because I got Mr. 500 of 500. So
that's a nice one.
Straight on the rental market, I didn't even use either of them. Just put them straight up on the rental market. I don't think either of them have actually rented yet. But I'm in it for the long-term hodl rather than the rental income. So
yeah, you always said you don't really care about the rental stuff.
It's just gravy if it comes in. And like I say, because I'm so overrepresented in so many different, I guess, areas, I'm not looking to really maximize my rental income because I'm cognizant of the fact that then I'm freezing out somebody else. I'm undercutting somebody else's price or whatever else. So I'm kind of like, look, I'll pay minimal attention to it and just update prices from time to time. But the guy who's
SBS
really hungry
has my
and
back.
he's there and he's watching the market, I want him to have the opportunity too, So and some of them are too cheap, and that's okay. I'm looking after players then, and some are too expensive, and that's all right. They won't move unless somebody really wants them. So I think a big part of this is about, I'm playing it, but I'm playing the game for my own long-term mental health. I've said this before. I've had friends who've come, they've hit the game hard, and then they've burnt out after a year, and I've never seen them again. And that's the last thing I want for anybody, because then all that opportunity cost is there, right? So if you can arrive and go, this is fun, but I don't need to maximize every opportunity. I don't need to pour over charts and spreadsheets and make it work, right? I don't want to make it a chore. Oh, crap, it's that time of day again. I really should readjust my rentals. And then it gets boring and dull. And eventually, I'm working for $3 an hour. It's just not worth it. Yeah. That's entirely the wrong way to think about it. What you need to be doing is go, this is a game I enjoy. Every now and then I'll update my rentals, because not to make more money, I just want to update my rentals so I've got a bit more spending money to buy more cards with. It's about being in the right mental place with it all.
Well, well, there is a way to even make it easier. I saw a post on Hive, how you can automatically adjust your rentals. It's not always accurate, but if you don't really care about that anyway, to get the price on all of them, to the equivalent price of what people have them at the lowest price, and just like match them for each of those cards that you have automatically. I sent the link to Bob, man. I've tried it a few times, and it's like so good.
That's on Peak Monsters,
It's on Peak Monsters,
Yeah. That's what I do now as well. Just every couple of days, because you select the ones just for rent, and you say delegated no, so the only ones that come up are the ones that aren't being rented. match lowest price, boom, done, all of them. So easy.
So good.
Yeah, I guess if you go sort of mid-season too, you're kind of getting it around the right, around the right spot. If if you do it too late in the season, then prices are a little bit high, and then you'll probably find that the first 10 days of next season you priced yourself out of the market. But then, I'll get DMs from people going, "Oh, look, I've got maximum occupancy. I've got, I'm getting 10,000 deck a day off a total maximum of 10,000 deck a day, and my price is too cheap," right? So even with max occupancy, even if you got every card is being rented, you still got that feeling of, am I doing something wrong? Because maybe I could get 11,000 deck a day, or whatever. So yeah, it's about playing that mental game with yourself and saying, I'm not going to maximize every opportunity. Some guys set an alarm. The first thing they do, they wake up, stretch, roll over, and claim their SPS, and then stake it, right? Because of compound interest. And they'll, oh, it's smoko break, I better go and do that again, and then they try and maximize. And if you enjoy that, then that's entirely fine, right? Don't get me wrong. But if it becomes a chore, that's when you need to step away and take a break, rather than keep sprinting and then hit the wall and then say, oh, this whole thing's rubbish, and then throw your hands in the air and then walk away, right? You've got to be in this for the long term.
And just even a part of that, like when the airdrop first started, when I first bought my alpha and beta packs, this was so far not even thought of. And I certainly didn't get any sheep stations, but just from the collections that I had, it was every day I'm just getting all this free stuff simply because 3 years ago I bought some cards. And that generated enough vouchers for me to actually buy 15 packs in the preset. Because again, I wouldn't have paid $25 for a voucher. Not saying that's a good decision, but just where I was at, I wouldn't have done that.
No, but I managed to buy. You could have sold those vouchers as well. That's 15 times 25, whatever that is. It's a decent amount of money. So $900, I think. No, I don't know.
But I got stuff for free that I used to buy chaos packs. So
I think an instrumental thing for me was when early on, when they said, oh, by the way, people are buying and selling cards, and they came up with the idea of gold foils. This is before gold foils. We just think cards were cards. And they said, oh, what we're doing is we're going to airdrop the gold foil cards on people as if they were in packs when they were bought. And I thought, hang on, this is an entirely new thing, and you're not just selling the gold foil cards, you're just giving them away. And that was for me my first real understanding of the mindset of these guys, which is, let's return as much value as we can to our players, right? Yeah, okay, we're selling them packs, but we're going to fall over ourselves to make sure that they are really glad they bought those packs. And I don't look at my stack of packs and go, I wish I hadn't bought those, right? You might look at your Lambo in the driveway and go, I kind of wish I hadn't bought that.
Oh, the transmission's broken. Now I've got to send it back to Lamborghini and spend another 30-40 grand on getting it.
And the
fixed.
cops have pulled me over twice today, and the insurance is $10,000 a minute, and it's it's just ridiculous. But that returning value and that appetite that I could see that they had, which was, okay, let's embarrass them with what a great idea it was to buy those cards or buy those packs. And I look at those orbs; they're just sitting there because at some point I went, I might sit on some orbs. They might go up in value. Not only are they $150 each now, but I'm getting SPS for them. Now, when I decided to stack those orbs, SPS wasn't even a thing, it wasn't even thought of. Same as when I was buying alpha packs before they'd invented gold foil cards. I realized games had gold foil cards before that, but before they'd come up with introducing it in the game. And then the packs that I bought, they said, oh, by the way, here's a whole lot of extra value just because you bought stuff from us. And that's been this recurring theme where you go, what wealth and riches is this game going to shower down on me today just because of something I did 6 months ago, which I'm already benefiting from, right? It's not like the alpha cards owe me anything. Anyway, sorry, Gio, what did you say?
No, man. No, I was just listening to you. No, I'm still fortunate enough to be in the game while there is an airdrop happening. You know. So, all right. So today's episode was on dragons, and next episode will be on Bob.
That's a
Since
good
there's no
point. I
more
was going to
splinters.
say, why don't we throw that out to comments? What do we talk about next? We've covered all the splinters, attributes, rule sets. Yeah, let's pick something from the comments.
Cool, cool. Well, yeah, thank you for having me on. And it was fun being somewhat co-host, huh? And yeah, Matt, always a pleasure seeing you, you know, talking about
Absolutely.
just you going on these awesome rants about
Yes,
awesome shit
feelings
that I
mutual,
didn't know
mate.
before.
Bob's saying, I will throw it out to the audience and what you want to talk about. I'm thinking, well, you might choose where I start. Even I don't know where I'm going to end up.
That's the beauty, isn't it?
Lovely.
It's real talk. You know,
Yeah,
it's not a script. It's real
and
talk.
real passion too. Real passion.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'd shoot myself if I had to follow script all the time. Yep.
Agreed.
All right, all right. Off we go. Hey, are we going to do that click thing? That
Why
you
not?
do?
Let's see if Gio's got the magic. Because Gio can make us all disappear.
On 3, 2, 1.